It's a moment of justice nearly 5 years in the making. In December of 2020, during a pro-Trump rally, members of the far-right group The Proud Boys vandalized a Black Lives Matter banner outside the Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C. The then leader of the group, Enrique Tarrio, confessing to the vandalism, and he was later sentenced to more than 5 months in jail for those and other charges. Finally, this Monday, after the Proud Boys defaulted on a nearly $3 million judgment, the church was awarded the Proud Boys trademark and any money that is made from selling the group's merchandise. Joining me now is Reverend William H. Lamar IV, the pastor at Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church. Sir, it is an honor to have you here. When we spoke previously, yes, it's a legal victory, and I think it's important that this judgment has been entered and you guys now have the control of the trademark. But when I shared this news on my social, people were really happy because they felt like it was good news to see that the rule of law still works and that justice can still be achieved. Your thoughts about the symbolism of your Black church having the trademark now and controlling the trademark of the Proud Boys?
Katie, thank you for allowing me to share our story. It is a karmic victory. It is the justice that we have sought since our first encounter here in the American Empire, and it is the justice that we will continue to seek. I believe that the Proud Boys thought that we would roll over, that we would play dead. What they did not know is that we stand in the tradition of Elizabeth Freeman, who sued for ownership of her own body in the 18th century. We stand in the tradition of Ida B. Wells Barnett, who was dogged in telling the true story about lynching and violence against Black people for political purposes. We stand in the tradition of Ella Jo Baker, who said, if the light is lifted up, the people will follow. And what we want to remind people with our victory is that the light of victory lives in each and every one of us. And we will soon be sharing on our website ways that we can connect, ways that we can grow and use the resources we will gain, not only to strengthen Metropolitan, but to strengthen other organizations, religious and otherwise, who are doing the work of freedom and justice. This victory only showcases the fact that 1,000 victories are blooming across the nation, and we need to amplify this victory. And I'm so thankful that I serve a community of people who are willing to stand, because there are many communities who would rather go quietly into the night, and we cannot do that, especially not now.
Reverend, how important is it for us to continue to keep the faith, and however you find that faith, whether it's through religion or otherwise, how important is it to keep the faith during such a dark time? Because a lot of us feel like we're drowning, right? A lot of us feel like it's hard to see the light, especially when there's so much pain and so much terror that's being inflicted by this current administration.
Katie, I really appreciate your thoughtful question. The first thing I want to say is we must divorce ourselves from Christian chauvinism from our perspective. That means that all human beings together have the light and spark of the divine. We are all made in the image and likeness of the divine, according to my tradition. But whether you believe that or not, if you are a freedom-loving human being, we need to realize that the way that power has been structured in the world, much of it has been structured to distract us. We see the power of what Ezra Klein has called the attentional oligarchs, who control what our eyes see and what our fingers scroll. And we see how many of them are capitulating to a fascist regime that is seeking to decimate the little democracy that we have here. What we must do is garner our resources. What we must do is to build our inner lives through community. Now is the time to listen to wonderful music and be inspired. Now is the time to read beautiful things. Now is the time to gather in person, to share energy that is necessary. I think about the wisdom of my ancestors who gathered in the dark night of enslavement. And remember that many states in the South made it illegal for Black people to join. So we had to rush toward the river, rush into the hush arbors to gather in fugitive spaces, to love each other enough for the fight. That we don't just want to fight, we got to rest. We got to find time for joy, recreation. But if we put together that fulsome, very human spirit that says we will be free no matter what, we are not made to live in cages. And the cages that we find ourselves in, Maya Angelou reminds us that we will sing our way out of them if we sing together.
I'm speechless. And this is why I needed to have you on, especially today. Reverend Dr. William Lamar IV, again, my congratulations to your church on this victory legally, but also, I think, spiritually. You guys are really making a difference. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Katie.